and everything. Is everything been going well?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes.
All right,
Uh,
thanks.
how
All
was
right,
the
so
interview? Or the
uh,
was it an interview, Professor Herman?
So, so I was part of a panel that conducted interviews. I wasn't
Oh,
the
okay.
interviewer.
Oh, I
Yeah.
thought you were. Oh, okay.
No, no.
Okay, no, that's fine. Um,
okay. All right, great.
yeah.
All right, so maybe let's get started. Okay.
All
All
right.
right. So
So
thanks,
let me
Victor
just
and
set up.
Herman. So Victor, would you like to do the update first?
Yes. Okay, so I'm just gonna share my screen. The
Okay, sure.
Based on what we discussed like last week. So I'll just give like a quick update. Sorry, let me just see that. Okay, so I'm just gonna give a quick update on basically what we talked about last week. Sorry, is this working? Jeez, what's going on? Hello?
Yes, I can hear
It's
you.
nearly there.
I can hear you.
I
It
think
says
my screen froze for like a second.
Okay,
Um,
maybe just wait a bit. Yep. So
yeah.
update for Herman actually during this time. It's
Okay, I'll just
okay.
keep speaking. Um,
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
so
yeah.
basically, sorry, sir.
No, no, no. Continue.
So basically, last week we basically talked about um, based on the week before. So I said the meeting before Thursday, we talked about sort of putting the specifying which direction we want to go, or should I say I want to go in terms of the topic. Right. So I
Mm-hmm.
did something, but I don't think that was what we spoke about. So the idea was to sort of to be specific as to which field in spatial routing, because spatial routing is quite big and quite wide, and as to what exactly I would want. So at the time when I was asked, I was talking about a decentralized smart factory using spatial routing, right? But after
Oh.
speaking to Shunyun, um, uh based on what I explained to him, based on what I want, which and okay, let me see what I wanted basically was something that I could use in a commercial field in the future,
Mm-hmm.
where the smart factory was a case study. um that was my impression, but then Shunyu suggested that it might actually be better to just sort of go straight into the commercialization, not necessarily commercialization, but go like it's rather than developing just for smart factory, where it's more specific. For example, we suggested decentralized spatial services, or
Okay.
decentralized data management, or decentralized spatial routing, where it is offered as a service, and the idea would be to develop the project around those lines. So what we discussed then was to sort of come up with something, or should I say, I should pick one, right? Pick
Yes. Yes. Right.
one major direction to go in, and I've decided
So
on.
what? Yeah. So what's your decision?
I think spatial communication and data storage.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
I,
All
I don't
right.
know
Okay.
if that works, but I mean, it sort
Okay.
of covers. I think I could be wrong. It sort of covers basically what I want. It's basically communication, where devices are linked and communicating with each other, and the data is being spatially stored across the same network or across the same devices. Now, I don't know if that means it will have to be done separately or if it will be done together, but based on the study I sort of performed, or should I say, the basic research I did, a lot of what I find is in map storage, like geodata or geospatial data. Um, and some of them were able to actually integrate it with SQL, like the classic SQL's data storage. With communication, the major factors are basically spacing, the physical distance between them, and their position, right? And then they sort of store each device sort of stores information. I think that's spatial routing in general. Even the VAST library works like that, where each node has all the information for that specific node, and then the sort of so there's like a protocol that connects all these nodes, or there's a protocol that determines how they communicate with each other. Now, I think the potential challenges, I think, because I wouldn't say potential because it already exists, but at the same time, I don't think it's P2P. For example, real-time data, like real-time spatial data. I know the maps are already like spatial data, spatially, what's they have like some form of, they are GIS systems where the data is sort of stored spatially, but then they are static. They are not real time, or should they're not necessarily real time. And there's I'm not sure. I don't think the maps, when you're sort of using maps as a direction guide, I don't think that's real time. I think it's stored on the phones. The map data is stored on the phone and then it's referenced, but it's not from the cloud. So that might be a challenge in terms of making the data real time, or figuring out how to make it real time. And also, what type of data? Is it all types of data? Would it be Boolean data? Would it be strings? Would it be clusters of, like like what, I mean, where to start from? I think that's the more important question. How to, or what
blobs.
type? Yes, yes. What types of, how to structure the data, or how to characterize the data that will be
So,
stored.
so I had a PhD student quite a number of years ago that worked
Okay.
on a distributed peer-to-peer storage architecture. Shunyun actually
Oh.
examined his PhD. I've sent you links to the
Wow.
paper we published in 2017 in the ACM journal.
Nice.
I have a master student who's busy implementing that as a library.
Nice.
But it doesn't. Okay, so what this doesn't have is it doesn't have any form of spatial routing. So I think we actually
Okay.
used the combination of a peer-to-peer overlay storage, which is like a distributed hash table or something like that, combined with
Okay.
some kind of a group storage. But it basically assumed that the nodes could basically just make a TCP connection to whatever it needs to connect to. But you
Okay.
could potentially take that and just have a spatial communication layer instead of the normal. So in other words, the way that the data is actually distributed to the nodes is by using some form of spatial publish subscribe or something like that. So I think if you wanted, I mean, you could potentially combine the two, but that means you still need to solve the spatial routing aspect of the problem.
Yes. Yes. No,
Okay.
that's I think that will be possible, because if the spatial routing is properly developed, it should be some form of API structure, or at least
Yeah.
that's what's in my head, and it should be easy to just connect the endpoints from storage um routing. That makes sense. Anyways.
Okay. Okay. Nice. So I think something to share with Herman. Okay, which
Okay.
is last Thursday, my main
Yes.
feedback for Victory was that that the yellow highlight was his original title. Okay.
Yes.
But I thought I was trying to distill what were the core concepts, like the simple core concepts that he really wanted to do. And we actually discovered one is decentralization. Okay, so
Cool.
one keyword is actually central, and I think it's missing from your new title. Okay, so we were actually
okay, yes.
thinking we were actually talking about decentralized spatial something, So
Yes.
that something could be something like decentralized spatial service, right?
Yes.
Or decentralized spatial storage, or maybe decentralized spatial routing. or decentralized spatial, whatever communication, right? So my task for I guess I was asking Victory to think hard about what kind of decentralized spatial aspect you would like to focus
Okay.
on.
Okay.
As the do you get on Herman, you get what I'm trying to get at?
Mm. And
Because
he's looks like he's interested in the spatial data aspect of it.
right. Because obviously, as we talk about, there's the centralized, decentralized access, right? And the other access is the logic computation versus the storage part.
Mm.
Right? I mean, those are the other access. Um, right, and also obviously with logic, you're talking about perhaps more dynamic data type, right? Storage, maybe it's more persistent, kind of static data, right? So, and I think the core thing, the core concept is we need to help clarify, I guess, a core concept, that can be easily communicated. And also the whole work will be based around that concept, that one single concept. So, so I guess my question is for Victory. Communication and data storage, actually, again, they are two different concepts. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Like
I
communication deals more with routing, right? And data storage you could be talking about actually again two different things, like static data storage or dynamic data storage, right? So obviously we might need to focus on one thing, right? So I guess my question is, what are you more interested about? Or do you feel that you want to investigate more? Because this is my thesis, is that if you mix too many concepts together, and you talk about I can do this and that, it actually becomes blurry for people
Yes.
to understand. So what exactly are you trying to do? Are you trying to do a spatial database? Is that the main work, or are you building a communication framework, right? Or are you see? Okay. So yeah, I guess although yes, the more general, the more potentially impactful. Yeah, but I think we probably should choose one thing again to narrow down. So what do you feel that would be? I mean, this has to be something you will be interested to solve because you will be working on this for the next 2-3 years.
Geez, okay. I sort of like both, but let's just say communication.
Okay. All right.
At
Okay.
least establishing a but let me just ask this: can we really talk about communication without data storage?
Well, you can obviously still do work related to data storage, but I mean, you will need to have one major focus. You see, like even in the Vaughan work, we talk about. I mean, for the original Vaughan work, the focus was on scalability. You see, like scalability was the single most important aspect I want to discuss about. Although we did talk about things like security, persistence, which is storage, right? And also other aspects like consistency. Those are, I would say, auxiliary factors to consider. They are not the main topic or the main contribution. You see, like scalability has always been one very like crucial point I'd like to stand out in all the works I did. Okay, so I guess
noticed
you
that
see,
actually.
right? So between communication and data storage, what is your pick?
I think communication.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Good. All right.
Communication, but for large scale.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess the title would be decentralized spatial communication. Okay, as the main keywords. Okay. And depending on whether you want to have any other auxiliary highlights, right? But I would suggest just use this as your main the main thesis. and then try to explain and work on, make this understandable and, really devise some good design that fits into this topic.
Yeah.
I mean, this title. So that's my feedback. So Herman, what do you think? Any feedback?
Yeah, yeah. So the comment regarding the communication and storage, I think I mean, if you think in terms of what a router does, Victory, then yes, if you have packets coming in, it needs to store it in a buffer somewhere temporarily, right? But it's
Yes.
basically,
Yes.
it just stores it for a very short while and then it sends it along again. It's not
Oh,
like you
okay.
can query the router and say, oh, you received a packet
Wait.
2 days
Okay.
ago, could you send it to me? So with storage, you can think about there's some API where devices can query the service and say, please, here is an identifier for a piece of data that I want. Can you retrieve it and send it back to me? While
Okay.
communication, although yes, under the hood, there might be temporary storage, the API doesn't allow you to basically get it. It just says, here's some data, here is the API that you use to address the recipient. Please send it along to that recipient. And
Okay.
then, it basically does that. Another way you can think about it is that although the nodes, when they get the data, they will have to store it either, long-term storage or even short-term storage. But from the communication point of view, in my opinion, that's the node's problem, or that's some other application's problem. The communication is
Okay.
just concerned with how do I get the data to where it needs to go in an efficient manner
Yes.
and a reliable manner. Yeah.
Reliable and efficient. Yes. Okay. Okay. So it means sorry, in this scenario then we're thinking probably maybe just one data storage center somewhere and then lots of nodes that communicate but
Yes.
with a reference to that one.
Yes. In fact, that storage can even be centralized if you like.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
see,
Okay.
that
Okay.
actually would be a good thing to note is that it's possible that you decouple, storage aspect from the
Okay.
communication or rounding aspect
Communication.
of things.
Okay.
Yes.
That
I mean, it
also
doesn't.
that. Go ahead.
Sorry, Shunyun, go.
No, I was going to say that if you decouple these two concepts, you actually provides greater flexibility in the
Yes.
actual
Yeah.
deployment
Yeah.
or application of your technique, you see.
Yeah.
Because then people can treat your invention or the tools you provide or the APIs as a component that can fit
Okay.
into your particular application scenarios or user stories, okay?
Yeah.
Which is actually
Yeah.
more powerful than if you are
Yeah.
just providing them with like a fixed package of communication protocol plus a storage layer, which they might find useful, but again, they might not, right?
Okay.
You see?
Okay. Yeah.
So this is, I mean, a concept borrowing from a Linux system is that they tend to be modular, lots of small modules, so people can combine them to build systems, as opposed to tie down. Okay, so I mean, just a concept to share. All right, so Herman, you want to say something?
Yeah. So I think so it can be a centralized storage, but I think the point I actually want to bring across is the spatial communication doesn't put any restrictions on the storage. It basically says my only job is to make certain the data get where it really need to go. What the nodes or the applications does with the data is their problem. If they want to use a decentralized storage, that's fine. But it doesn't. Yeah. So it basically says it doesn't say anything about storage, if that makes sense. It just the data is there, and what you need you do with it what you need to do basically. You can think about it as it's basically we're building a decentralized spatial courier service basically. Once the package reaches the destination, what you do with the package, the courier service doesn't care about that. It's just here it is. Thank you very much. And I think that's also what Shunyun, refers to when he says it's decoupled. In other words, if someone then wants to use a centralized centralized database, that's fine.
Okay.
Or if you want to
It's up
use
to
a
them.
distributed database, that's also fine. And you could potentially even build decentralized storage on top of the spatial communication, but that's
But
basically not the focus of this paper. The focus on
okay.
this paper is,
Spatial
decentralized communication.
Okay. I don't know if I should also add the scalable as well, or if that would just reflect in the writing.
Yeah, I think the decentralized already kind of goes
Implies,
towards that. Yeah.
Implies scalable.
So, but
Okay.
that is something I would rather focus on in the document itself.
Okay. Okay. Good.
So Herman, what do you think of this title, decentralized
Yeah, no, I
spatial?
like it. Yeah,
Okay,
and I
okay.
think that is the that is the problem.
The essence, the essence.
Yeah, that is the problem we want solved. Yeah.
Okay, okay,
Okay.
great. All right. So,
Um,
Victory, what do you think? If
yeah,
this is going to be the
it
topic.
sounds very like, yeah, I think I like it. It also sounds applicable to all sectors. I think the delivery
Yes,
example you
it's
just
more
gave is
general sounding, right? It's more general
yes,
sounding
yeah,
as
it's more
well.
general. So you can pick one in
Right,
terms of
right.
practical
Okay.
implementation. One
Okay.
can pick.
Yes, exactly.
Um,
Obviously, it's going to be explained or demoed
okay.
with one particular
Which one?
instance or, a few user stories. But the general
Okay.
theme is decentralized spatial communication.
Communication. Sure,
Hmm.
sure. Okay.
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 Great.
So,
Okay. All right. So if you also like and feel this is a good title, then I'd say that's let's just focus on this. Okay.
okay.
In the sense that it will be your job to explain to your readers what is
Yeah.
decentralized spatial communication.
Yeah.
What is the main problem and challenge, and
Problem.
what's our solutions, and how does it perform,
Okay.
and what are the implications, and all that. And that's everything that sort of span out from this.
Okay. Okay. So sorry, just to confirm, that explanation will basically be in a general format, like when the question is
Yes,
asked.
obviously,
Yeah, like
yes.
in a general form. Okay.
Yes. I mean, you will have to explain about what they mean and what's the relevance, why is it important, right? Like for decentralized, you can talk about the low cost, the better scalability, the fault tolerance, right? For
Fault
spatial,
tolerance.
you can talk about how it matches, it solves or redress issues of exploding number of sensors and mobile devices, right? The expected autonomous industry or vehicles, right?
Yeah.
And for communication, you can emphasize how you're dealing with things that could be executed in real time, right? That are not just like static query. You see, this would be different from you're doing like a GIS system query on a spatial database of static data, right? It's potentially more dynamic. You might involve like moving nodes, right? Moving data sets, moving spatial events, and how do you actually communicate, coordinate,
Yes.
receive them, right? Send and receive them, right? Publish and subscribe them well, right? Those will be the topics that you will address in your work. Okay, so that makes sense?
Yeah, be clear. Yeah, I think I have
Okay.
a picture.
All right. So I
Clear
guess,
picture.
Herman, any thoughts on the next steps for Victory?
What I would like to see, I guess, is something similar to what we saw last week, where you have a what do you call it,
Like a
the
detailed
structure of
structure.
the paper, yeah, and then, but I think it would also be good to have a one paragraph. Well, maybe the abstract. If you have
Okay.
let's say you write the
Yes.
abstract, which is basically, this is the key component, what you are going to be doing in this paper, and what you want to show in this paper, because that, I guess the abstract would be that one paragraph summary of what the essence of the paper is going to
The
be.
synopsis, right?
Yeah, precisely. Yeah. So I mean, that's kind of well, for Thursday, that would actually be nice if we could have the structure
Yeah.
and we have some kind of an abstract. Because I think if we've got an abstract, then we know from that we can infer, okay, but what is the results that you have to generate, if there are results in the paper, and what's basically the, what's the essence of the paper that's going to be submitted.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, I agree. Yeah. Writing up the abstract is good because abstract is usually a summary, but also it would entail, like Herman said, this is essentially we're assuming or visualizing or imagining the work has already been done, right? So in other words, we're sort of beginning with the end in mind, like what in the end of your work are you going to be presenting? In terms of the results, the designs, the desirable characteristics, and all that, right? There's going to be some approaches, methods, paths that you will be presenting in your work. However, those are the main end results, the key points we like to present or we will be presenting in this paper. The main key concepts, the main key results, okay, essentially. So you can there just imagine what are the desirable key results as well and describe that in your abstract. Okay, Victor, this is an important concept. So do you get this?
Yes,
I'd like
yes,
to make
I
sure
do,
that you
I
get,
do.
okay.
Yes.
Write the abstract as if your whole paper is already been written. See? Okay?
Yeah.
Assume that it's already done. Then what
Okay.
would your abstract look like? That's what we like to see. Okay? Assuming you can get all the ideal and desirable results, what will the abstract look like? Okay? Okay?
Yes.
All right?
Yes.
And be as specific as possible, like we've shown in this simulation, like how many nodes and what's the latency, for example. I mean, I guess you can even put those numbers down first,
Okay.
because again, that provides a visual target for you to work on later during this work. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
So
All right.
be concise, but also be specific as possible as you can.
Okay. All right.
All right. Okay. All right. Good. Good. Okay. I say the abstract is a good point. Also, I mean, that's also the first thing people read after the title. They read your abstract to see if they well spend any time further to continue with your paper. So it's really it's a sales pitch.
Yeah. After that, I usually read the conclusions to see, okay, but did they actually do what they said they were going to do? And only then I actually delve into the nitty-gritty of the paper.
Okay.
You have to really treat the abstract as a sales pitch, that's essentially. Okay, all right. So any other questions from Victory?
No, that's fine for now.
Okay, okay.
All right. Okay. Sorry, this last. So I can basically start with the Can I start rewarding the what do you call it? The problem statement and the objectives based on this title.
Exactly. That's exactly what you need to do. Yes. Just rephrase everything with these 3 keywords. Yeah, based on this title. Yes. Decentralized spatial communication.
Okay.
Okay. I think that sounds good. I mean, if you can publish this, this is the Infocom SICOM type of title.
Yeah. Precisely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. Good. All right. So yeah, I guess that's it. And so, anything, Herman, you like to discuss?
No, I'm still getting Gert-Jan to set up that meeting with his colleague. I sent him a message this morning again just to ask when is a good time to do that. So hopefully we can still do it sometime this week. Or otherwise next week.
Okay, I see. All right, good. So I guess just a quick check. When would you like the next? We should schedule the mastermind as well. Right?
So
Gonna
that
ask
is
about
also
that.
that is
Okay.
also a good question.
So I think there are two dates. I mean, we can middle of the month. So one I think would be December. Okay, I think December 18th. Would that work?
No, that
Yep.
can work for me.
Okay. So how about let's set up that time for the mastermind?
Cool.
Last
I'll do
mastermind.
that.
Okay. Would that also work for Victory? Would that be all right?
Yes, yes, it's perfect.
Okay. All right. So let's
Thank you.
schedule it that time then. All right. December 18th.
Okay, cool.
Right? Just before
I'll
Christmas.
send out an invite for everyone. Yeah.
Yes. All right. Okay. Okay. All right. All right. So
Cool.
talk
Thank
to you
you,
on
sir.
Thursday then. All right.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. All right.
Bye.
Take care. Yeah.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
bye.
Bye.